What makes us human? Why are we not apes? Humans are becoming aware of themselves because of the social pressure that the mind made themselves think of what is to be regarded. In other words, one can only find the definition of the self through socializing, but to make it profound concerning the self, one must see the origin of its identity to where the self belongs. Hence, one should study humans by understanding the self concerning its society and culture, that is, the anthropology. On the other hand, to whom does culture belong? One might say that culture does not define who you are, but that is not true. Culture plays a larger role in society. For example, a child may grow according to how his or her family's culture will develop himself. In other words, culture shapes the self to see our very own self and others. Hence, this topic will discuss the anthropological theories about the relationship of the self with society and culture. Anthropology is the study of us, the people, past and present. It is derived from the Greek word anthropos, which means humans, and logia, the study. That would mean that one should identify, understand, and formulate the actual situation of a human person in culture. Another interpretation of anthropology is to interpret facts and data that were gathered rather than that of experimental method. One of the evidences that needs to be investigated is the Homo sapiens. There is a four-field approach in anthropology, which composed of four subfields. Archaeology of the self is the exploration of gender, race, class, sexual orientation, and religion that are living within us. The renovation of the self from its emptiness to fulfillment reconstructs what was distracted by destructive emotions, shame, and guilt by doing nothing wrong, phobias, etc. The remains of the material things left by our ancestors, such as artifacts, plants, etc., speak about human behaviors and cultural values. Therefore, it is the study about the human past by which archaeologists gather data, information, and facts through the material remains they discovered. There is another type of archaeology that studies the practices of living human groups, that is, ethnoarchaeology. The focus is to investigate the remains of their ancestors regarding the norms and beliefs. It focuses on the language that gives importance to the human understanding of the history of society and culture, politics, and religion, which provides a human understanding of a substantial meaning to the self. Language changes every cultural value that is being traditionalized by a certain community or society. Language affects culture through time and space. Example, when a certain term becomes a gesture in the context of temporal virality of a situation. Delving deeper, the origin of man or its evolution based on the physical structure, shape, and the movement of the human. It studies the differences in the human behavior or activity of a certain societies that depicts the exploration of the self as the main reason why do certain traditions evolved. Western and Eastern cultures have different orientations in themselves, but though they have a different perspective, both of them do not deny the fact that personality traits, attitudes, relationships are the main factors of its differences. However, if one would try to reflect on it, the fundamental problem is the difference itself. There are various definitions and forms of culture, but the most important thing here is the place of the self in culture. The term culture originally comes from the Latin word colere, that is, to till the ground. Thus, it is agricultural in its sense. Culture refers to the shared values, beliefs, and norms of a specific group of people. Culture, therefore, influences the manner we learn, live, and behave. Therefore, culture is acquired, not hereditary. The self that is being independent in itself is a sense of being of who we are. Oneself is being shaped by the culture. Psychologically speaking, the behavior is the most transparent result that legitimizes the meaning of it. Thus, the influence depends on the culture where the self is being situated. In other words, the self is embedded in culture by which it may be sourced by blood or by its surroundings.